Friends, hello again. So let's close that matter, the discussion of intelligence. I'm not saying intelligence doesn't exist. It may or may not exist. There may be such a thing as a G. It may or may not exist, means general intelligence. All I'm saying is that these tests they're discussing don't map to their claims. They select some kind of class, some kind of exam takers, and it's not very rigorous. You have nonlinearities. You can no longer use factor analysis, or at least not in this form. And there are other technical details. Let's not get into these. Let's now get into something very simple. The first thing I learned from psychologists that was intelligent was that if you try to sell meat at a supermarket and you say, well, it's 20% fat, nobody's going to buy it. If you say it's 80% fat-free, people will buy it. If you try to sell death insurance, people won't buy it. If you tell them it's life insurance, they're likely to buy it. If you tell a cancer patient you have 5% probability of death, they're going to be upset. If you tell them more, 95% probability of surviving, they'll be very happy. So let's play this game on them and let's see what the story is and why I think I'm going to close on this idea of a discussion of IQ. So Christopher Chabris is a very nice fellow. He's the author of the Gorilla Story, where you have basketball players, and the spectator is supposed to count the points. You don't notice a gorilla when you're counting. So, very intelligent and very nice fellow, a friend of mine. So he sort of read, that was published in 2021, but I sort of missed it because I was interested in other things. He read my claims that high IQ is for idiots and said, no, high IQ, they're still performing. It's fine. Let's look at the data. And sure enough, he proved indirectly my point is that about an IQ of 120, or IQ is not intelligence, it's results of a certain test with a very extremely large sample size, 46,000. He looked at, it's a meta of 4 papers. He figured out that below the correlation is 20% and above it's almost 7%. That's above 120 and below 120. And of course, occupational attainment, same thing. And of course, that also applies to educational attainment. And remember, IQ is very circular. So in other words, how good you are at taking tests, even that doesn't do very well for high IQ. Okay, so you have a drop in performance. His point is that there is no negative performance, and that's fine, settled. But he proved, with data, my point. But now let's go back to the story of 80% fat-free and look at it properly. This is correlation, okay? Let's look at it in terms of 1 minus rho square. In other words, how much of the variable is not explained by IQ. So take annual income, 99.5% not explained by IQ, above 120. And even below, 95%, who cares? Occupational attainment, 99% almost. Education, 97% not explained by IQ. So why would take 1 minus rho squared? Because rho squared maps to r square in a simplified model. And of course, you're going to count the 80% fat-free rather than 20% fat. So do you see what we're reading? In other words, if there's evidence of IQ having some effect, you need to hire an entire village for it to have a tiny effect on your model. So really, I think the matter is closed. Has been closed for a while, but I wasn't paying attention to it, except to fight on Twitter with a bunch of frauds. And so the consequences, well, you can, of course, find data where this doesn't apply. You can select data, but I took someone else's paper. I didn't do the data myself. I'm too lazy to work with data. And also it's less biased. So someone trying to disprove me use their data. And why don't people look at it that way? Because the education in statistics, typically in graduate schools and universities, is a little limited to memorizing metrics without really understanding how they're derived or how you can fudge them or how you can reinterpret them in a different way. Thank you very much and have an excellent day. Bye.